Okay, I'm here with Rocko and Bailey. This is Rocko, this is Bailey. The Rocko and Bailey have an invisible fence, and we have a lot of people that walk by their house. And the dogs like to go and run and bark at people. So in this video, I'm going to go over some tips on how you can help the dog practice listening to you and focusing on you and giving you obedience, i.e. listening to you and following commands. Now, I was just talking about this off camera. When it comes to dogs, we try to train them in the moment, which is the worst possible trying to train anybody or anything anyway. So we want to teach, we learn in a classroom. We're encouraged to explore and try different things, and when it doesn't work and we try the teacher's way and it works, it validates it for us. But we come to that conclusion on our own. When it comes to dogs, we have a tendency to micromanage them. We're telling them every little thing to do, and then they're out in the yard unsupervised. They have no idea what to do because we haven't taught them that. Now, I'm not going to cover that part in this video. That's stuff we talked about off camera. We're going to use the clicker, and we're going to kind of condition the dog and help them practice listening to us outside. We're going to give them a reason to listen to us. Now, when you're going to do this, you need to first prime the clicker. And in order to prime the clicker, we want to create a classically conditioned response. So I'm going to show you real quick how to prime a clicker. I'm just going to drop a treat on the ground, and I have the clicker behind my back. And as soon as the treat goes in the dog's mouth, I click. Now, I did this to Rocko, and he didn't like the sound of the clicker. So if your dog doesn't like the sound of the clicker, you can move it behind your back. You can muffle it by clicking here. But the treat goes in the mouth first, then they hear the command word. Now, when you're doing this, and it's raining a little bit, so I'm going to be a little bit wet by the end of one. That's okay. I'm waterproof. So what we want to do is you can do this inside. Now, the click is to indicate when the dog did what I wanted. So if I'm going to use this for traditional clicker training, like for a sit, this is how I do it. Sit, sit. So when the butt hit the ground, that's when I click. The click is to indicate you did what I wanted. I'm going to get a treat in your mouth as fast as I can. So it buys you a little bit of time. But the treat should never be delivered at the same time the click, and the clicker is not a remote control. Don't do that. All right, so what I'm going to do, come on, Rocko. Rocko, come. Rocko, come. Or Bailey, come. Whoops, I just did what I said not to do. See, my neural pathways. Rocko, come. Bailey, come and get it. You guys don't want to go in the rain, huh? You're going to make me pantomime this whole thing? This looks better when we have dogs here. Rocko, come. Bailey, come. Bailey, come. Come. So that's the better. So she came, I clicked when she came to me, and I clicked to give her the treat. So since they're a little bit off their game, they're both a little bit nervous dogs, so I'm just going to kind of pantomime. If they come out, we'll practice with them a little bit. So basically what I want you to do is in the house, oh, there we go. Come. So when you're in the house, you're going to grab a whole bunch of treats. You might want to get a treat pouch like this so you have a whole bunch handy. And what I want you to do, and I would do this with one dog at a time. We're going to start in the house because it's not raining typically inside, and there's not a lot of distractions. So we're going to tell the dog to sit. Dog sits, click, and eventually you won't have to move the clicker behind your back. But for you guys, I'd like you to prime the clicker about 3 or more times. So 10 treats for each dog, and you click every time they lick it up. So then once the dog, after a while, you pull the clicker and the dog's like, holy cow, I'm about to get a lot of treats. I really like this. And that's what we like. We put them in kind of a training mode. So then what we're going to do, Rocko, come. Nope, he's not going to do it. He's venturing behind a little bit, but he's not doing it. So what I would do in the house, say sit. When he sits, click, and give him that treat and say sit. Then take a couple steps away, ask him come, click for the come and give him the treat, or ask for a down. So we're going to practice sits, downs, and comes in the house for about 5 to 7 treats, and you're walking closer and closer to your front door. So this is kind of the warm-up. So then what we do is as soon as we come outside, we tell the dog to sit right there at the door, sits, click, give it that treat, then take another step. You're at the edge of your porch, sit, or maybe a down, click, and then you're going to walk around your yard, and what you're going to see is your dog is going to block everything else out as long as, at first, nothing else is going on. So when your neighbors are out with the ducks in the wagon, that's really weird, but the neighbors have ducks in the wagon. But if they're out there, that's not a good time to practice. We want to practice in the easiest version possible. So I want you to do the point where you just walk around your house, your yard, and the dog's following you. Every time, and if it wanders off, you call it. You can practice the come, the sit, or the down. And after a while, your dog is now practicing listening to you outside. So once you can achieve the point where you can tell the dog the command and they're doing it right away, then what I would like you to do is I'd like you to bring the dogs out on a leash. And when you're doing this, only one dog at a time. Don't do it with both dogs at the same time. So then what I would do is I would enlist your neighbors with the ducks in the wagon, or somebody else that walks their dog, or somebody that the dog barks at. So what I would do is have them maybe way across the street, and maybe you're just have the dog on leash. The reason I have the leash is they like to run to that section right over there by the mailbox. And so they run over there, they're so far away and they're closer to the stimulus, they're not going to listen to us. So if we have them on the leash, we prevent them from running around, that prevents them getting more aroused. The more that they run around, the more worked up they get. So the leash prevents that, but if they're too reactive, exercise your dog first. And you might even practice it inside your house with both doors open so they can see the person there, but we keep increasing the distance until the dog will respond. Then we want to gradually start collapsing that distance until eventually we can go over there and walk with the person. They're walking on the inside, and we're walking with them. The dog's looking up at us. We're stopping every once in a while, sit, a click, but it'll take some practice. You're not going to get there overnight. So the first stage for this is priming the clicker. So about 10 treats, you throw it on the ground, each dog separately, click 10 times after the treat goes in their mouth. After you've done that, then you're in the house, about 5 to 7 treats, ask for a sit down or come, walk your way closer to the door, and then when you come outside, and again, provided nothing's out here, do it with no leash at first. You're only going to use the leash for the third stage, is once the dog pretty much is following you around and paying really close attention, and as soon as they say sit or down, they're down before you even finish your sentence, you're saying the word, then you're ready to start doing, I do a little bit of this, go back inside, grab your leash, and I'd probably practice with the leash before I have the people around here just to get them used to the leash. It's another piece of equipment or stage that we're doing. So again, come out here on a leash, sit, do a couple sits and downs, and then again, arrange to have somebody there. Now the person, if they're jogging or moving fast or they have a dog that's barking, that's going to make a stronger response. So the stimulus and the classification of the stimulus is going to matter. So at first we want to have the person just standing. And it would like to have you walking with your dog. If your dog's just standing looking at him, that's going to kind of trigger more of a response. So try to, if you have to, just keep on walking around in a circle. And every once in a while, give the dog a treat for just coming to you, or ask for a sit or down. Eventually, you'll get closer and closer and closer, but this is going to be probably multiple practice runs. And eventually, it'd be nice for the neighbors or whoever these people are to go out on a walk with them, if possible. But I would wait until you've already had a lot of practice with this. So you could actually, maybe they're on that side of the street, and you're walking that way, and you're on this side of the street, and we're walking, and the dog's paying attention to you, and every time you stop, they stop. You ask for a sit, click, and treat. So now the dog's practicing listening to you, ignoring the thing that they normally react to. Remember when I talked to you earlier, in order to do replacement behavior, we have to block the dog from doing the old behavior while we give them a positive association with the new behavior. This is the positive association part. The leash prevents us for them from running at it. But really, it's all the other things that we did leading up, practicing inside, practicing in the front yard without the dog, any other stimulus present, so the dog practices listening to you. And eventually, like I said, this clicker becomes, you won't need it, you can just say the command word, but now the dog has practiced listening to you as opposed to practicing over there. Now, one last little addendum. Because they're over there, and sometimes what's going to happen is they're going to be out here barking, and you're going to hear it, and you're going to come out here. Well, we need them to practice coming from there to there. So you could do this as just a recall exercise. Have one of you standing over there, and call the dog. The dog comes over to you. You can give it a treat. I would probably tease it. I would maybe the first time give it a treat, second time it comes over, no treat. Call it, comes over to you, no treat. Then this person calls, and I get a treat when I come over here. So now we're helping the dog. When I go over there, I don't get the reward unless the dog doesn't go over there. Then every once in a while we get a reward over there. But every time I run away from there, I get a treat. And we help them practice that, again, with nobody here. I would practice coming from here to the porch, there to the porch, there, and the other side as well. So that you have to help them practice. Dogs don't generalize well. We have to practice and create all these scenarios running away from all these different areas with nothing there. Then eventually we have one person standing there, and the dog's there, and that person's standing with their back to the camera or to the dog, and they're stationary. So they're not very intriguing or interesting to the dog. Dog stares, and you say, come. Then they come to you, you click when they get close enough, and then you give them a treat. Then if they want to run back there, I don't care if they're over there looking as long as they're not barking. But also keep in mind the stare sometimes is inappropriate. Like, if I'm looking with my mouth open, I'm staring, that's okay. If this is what you're looking for. So they see it and they close their eyes and get still. That's the precedent to them starting to barking and lunging and running there. So the key is we want to catch them. Focus, we can do that, or we can ask for a sit or down or some of the other things we went over, and we're conditioning the dog and saying that it's good to run away. It's good to listen to me. It's good to be a Rocko. Rock! Bailey, is you going to come? Oh, look at that. I threw them both together. Come. Rocko, come. Bailey, come. Come. It is rainy, but I'm wet, and you guys got a fur coat. All right, so for this, I'd like you guys to practice that, each one of you guys, about 3 times a day. Grab yourself a good 20 treats. You can use kibble if you want, but for that, the running away from it, you're probably going to need that higher value treat. And I kind of like the perception for them, and running away from here gets me the highest level treat. But for the sits and downs, you could probably use the just regular kibble for that, or whatever treat you need to achieve them listening to you. And again, before you get to the stage where you're practicing with people out here, make sure the dogs get exercise. Just give them 10 minutes to recover before you come out and practice. So I'd like each one of you guys to practice this like twice a day minimum. Practicing more is better. Keep the practice sessions to about 2 to 4 minutes. And at first, again, the first stage is priming the clicker. Second stage is doing about 5 or 6 in the house. Then about 10 or 15 out here. Maybe just come here, walk to the end of your driveway, and then come back in and just sits and downs. And then gradually you get in the grass, you're starting to do it. And eventually when you're doing it, it'd be nice if you let the dog sniff. And you just kind of hold still. Okay, you're boring now and I'm sniffing, and then I ask for a come. So what we want them to do is practice interrupting their behavior, coming and listening to us and having good things happen. So try to practice this for about a week, twice a day in those short sessions. And then practicing more is better. But you should start seeing a better response, and try to wait until you have at least about a week to 2 weeks of doing this where they're listening to you here before we start incorporating the people there. If you forget any of these things, or you run into issues, just give me a call and I'm happy to go over. For the clients, everybody else that's watching, you're gonna have to kind of figure it out on your own, or hire me. All right, these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have a dog that doesn't listen to you and likes to charge your property line and bark at guests who pass by.